So I'll do a quick little video on the Black Diamond Trader. I've had a few emails asking about some of the major currency pairs. So I'm just going to rattle off a few quick ones. My last video for this was back on January 12th. So, and looking at daily charts. So we've got some plays that we could probably take a look at here. We're going to start with the US dollar, Canadian dollar. And you can see that we had a short trade set up here. No entry, it didn't trigger in. Like I said before, the method calls for limit orders, but I'm not a limit order fan, and I've said it from the day one that if you're going to trade this, you want to look at stop orders. Okay. We also get a short trade set up here. You can see the SE here. We're going to short right there, the low of this candle. Well, it's actually a bar. And you see it just plummets down for a pretty good little trade here. You're looking at about, well, not about 260 odd pips, 264 pips. Not bad. That took about a week and a bit to play out. So, you think about that, depending on, your contract size. If you're looking at rounded to a buck a pip, you're looking at 200 and change. You're trading standard lots, looking at about 2,500 bucks. Not bad. Then we had you'd still be in that trade, depending on how you, like when this short sets up here, you're probably still in this trade. This is simply just a flag. Your target was here. You might have managed it. And if you're trailing it, depends on what you're doing with your stop, right? It's all in the manual. You just follow that. So we had a short trade set up here. So if you miss this one here, it carries down to here. And you'd have to scroll back over this way to see if there's any structure that you could have targeted for this trade here. Another short trade here that sets up. You can see down below, everything's lined up. So it's a trade you're going to take, right? This one here didn't trigger in. Over here, we're trading to longs. Problem is here, now we're looking at news this coming week. We had, again, the Bank of Canada talking about interest rates here. So we have a long setup here, and it would have been a great trade. But if you look down here, we're looking at, there's no trend strength until, this big move happens here. And this is going to happen from time to time. You're not going to get every single trade, but you want to follow this. And it makes sense, right? We had just shifted to longs after coming down from this downtrend here. And you can see we're putting in the high here. And then if you're just looking at just this pattern here, this is basically a range that you're looking at, right? So you get a range, right? Price compression. This is what's going to happen. You can get a drop off in the trend. But regardless of that, you're still looking at, on this trade here, 89 pips roughly. It's not a whole lot, but it's something. But you came in and banked over 250 pips on this trade here. Yeah, you missed this one. A lot of this is news driven. It's up 240 pips. Let's look at the Euro US dollar. Let's go back to here. So my video, like I said, was January 12th. So look over here. We've got this yellow dot says to stand aside. You want to look down here. Trend strength is weak. So we're not going to look for any trades until we're up into this area here. Right here. On this area here. And it's a long trade. Doesn't get triggered. Right? Now you may opt to slowly bring, every time the candle goes down, you might think of bringing your buy stop down to the highs of these candles, right? Depends on how you're going to trade it. As long as you see the momentum, trend strength getting stronger, it's not a bad play. Let's just take it from this one here so we're not overshooting here. So you rallied up about 46 pips, 50 pips, drops down here to another long entry. So there's no reason to get out yet, right? So if you held through that, depending on how you manage your trade, let's just go here, about 100 pips. And if you got in here, your stop's down here. That's obviously if you're taking out the highs. And you want to use structure for your targets right here. Right? You see these kind of spikes here, but usually what happens, you want to look for the swings before, then you have this spike and these swings here. That's how I trade them. I don't usually go for the lower pivots. I'll look up into these areas, the pivot below the lowest one or the highest one. And then we switch over to shorts, but we're not going to be interested in a short trade until here because we're trend strength. No short, nor short, nor short. Here's our short trade here. No reason not to take this trade. Everything's lined up. You buy stop in, it falls for about 77 pips because you're targeting structure. Now we're, again, this trade here didn't trigger in. on this candle, pulled back. No reason to get rid of this trade, right? The trend strength's pretty strong still. So the price had dropped roughly 34 pips before it started pulling back a little bit on this green candle. So another pretty decent trade. Aussie US, January 12th. It's in this area here. You see we had a long trade set up here, but then we also have this yellow dot. This yellow dot keeps you out when things are not all lined up properly, right? Yeah, you're going to sit on your hands. You're going to miss some really great trades, but at the same time, you want the perfect trades, right? And the reason this happens, if you look down here, this red line here is not lined up. Now, it will tell you that you may want to leave this section out. This is called market sentiment, okay? Especially in depending on how you're trading, right? For intraday, I would probably leave it on. But for more swing trading, not much of a use to me. Anyways, our trade here would be on this candle right here. It's a long trade. You can see it goes to targets. I'm going to assume there we go. I'm trying not to make this video too long, so there are targets, and we're right up and getting to resistance areas. So you're looking at this trade here, 120 pips. If you got in this trade here, obviously, right, we're trading back into these levels. Oops, sorry, into these levels up here, right? Sorry, I had to move something there. 69 pips, and then of course, now we're just 50 pips here. So that's another winning whole bunch of sessions there. So you had quite a few swing trades on that chart, and you can see so far we're doing really, really well. January 12th into through here. So we have a short trade set up here. Market sentiment is green here. So again, depends how you trade it. I'm going to stick to the basic rules here, so I'm not going to count this trade because of the market sentiment. If I did, it was 155 pips, okay? This short trade here, again, look, market sentiment. This is why it says you may not want to use that. It says 211 pips, okay? So depends on how you're calculating all this, all these pips that we're cranking out here. You may not use market sentiment. Short trade here doesn't trigger in right away. And then we get the blue dot here, which says we're changing to an uptrend. So you cancel this order, right? And because even though price is going up, if you look at here, trend strength dropped. So you're not going to be trailing up your sell stop to get in this trade. We had a long trade set up here, but again, right now, all the trend strength here is below this blue line. And if you just look at price right now, it's not doing this nice stair-stepping pattern, right? It's kind of doing its own little stair-stepping pattern inside this little area right here. So in the US dollar, Japanese yen, you guys, some trades lined up. We're not going to count them. Being strictly 100% mechanical to the trading system, except for how we get into trades. So you would stand aside, but if you didn't, 211, 148, that's lots. We are looking at the US dollar CAD. I'm going to finish with the pound US. Sloppy price action just by looking at the chart. But let's come over here. January 12th, short trade. Ooh, I got a gap here, so I don't know if that's a gap on my charting or it was an actual gap. If it is, obviously I'm not going to trade any short trade if that happens, especially where it happens out here. Going long here, but trend strength is weak. Long trade here. It says to take it, right? There's no need not to take this trade. Long trade, trading structure. You're looking at a quick 95 pips there in basically 2 days. Long trade here. Again, got to take it, right? Got to take it. Gets up here, rallies up to 93 pips, and then drops. Now, even if you're using this method, targeting up in this little range here, we didn't quite get there. We didn't get there at all. But if you see a reversal bar like this, rallies up and basically almost closes on its open. Actually, it closed below its open. You do not want to be sticking around on trades, all right? That's just price action trading. You should know that. And then we're into this slop right here. So, again, you see it over and over again. The Black Diamond Trader just keeps on producing. And it's just a handful of pairs. We got a whole bunch of pairs we can take a look at. So anyways, click below, sign up, get your trial, test it yourself, okay? And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I can answer them for you. But you know, it's a buck for 7 days. Give her a go. I think it's a pretty great strategy. Thanks.